I have just got my modded 7800 back from Crossbow, and I gotta tell you, it is amazing, and I want to show you what he did for me. First off, he swapped out all these buttons here, the insides, and so that they would be more reliable, and they have that nice clicky sound. This might be hard to pick up, so you can put it up by the audio. And he swapped out the LED. I'll show a video of that when it's powered on. It's a blue LED. He swapped out the controller, or I'm sorry, the cartridge port here so that it's easier to plug in cartridges. On the 7800, they're notoriously snug, and it's very difficult sometimes to plug in some cartridges. Some cartridges you might not even be able to plug in. The other thing that we did on the unit, this shell, the bottom of this shell completely shattered when I sent it over to him. They're very brittle. You know, it's an over 35 year since it's been out. It's been out for a while. The 7800 is quite old, so these cases are quite brittle. And Crossbow had just ordered I want to say 4 parts, H7800s, and he sold me one of the case and saved me the bottom of the cases in order to, and then he transferred over the original sticker for my 7800. So he did a lot of work on this, and my original case, I might show it on a clip here, was cracked, and it had like a crack right in here, and there was cracks, and so it was already on thin ice when I sent it out to him, and believe me, I bubble wrapped it really, really well, had it in a nice box, but I guess just some things don't survive shipping. I thought I had it plenty good enough, but anyhow, one of the mods that he did for me was the composite mod. I really wanted the composite where you have the RGB and RCA jacks and S-video, and that was a really nice mod. And he did the jack right here, an input jack for the Atari Vox, so that you can plug the output of the Atari Vox into here and have all integrated into the output that goes to your television, which is great because for me, since I'm recording videos, sometimes I'll be recording on one medium and that the speakers would be plugged into somewhere else and you wouldn't capture that sound. So that was really thoughtful. And then he did that, all the mod to this 7800 without having to make any additional holes, I don't think, into the case, just by removing some other components. And then finally I decided, you know what, I would like to get the Luma code update. He said that's the best one. It provides HDMI. It's a little pricey, but I said, yeah, you know what? So that was when I had done this one first with him, and then I sent it back, and that was when the case shattered. And then he did the Luma code update, and all that is, well, it's not all that it is, but all of that is that it's a little audio jack right here for the Luma code. You would think, oh, well, where's the rest of it? But that's all that it is. And essentially you plug in, I have a cable here. You have like a audio cable like this. You plug one side right into that port, and then you plug the other into an adapter, and it's this RGB to HDMI adapter, and you plug the other side of that cable right there. So let me put it down, the 7800 momentarily, and so one side of that cable just goes right into here, boom, just plugs right in. I don't know if I can get that on camera. So that plugs in right there, and then on the other side, that's the SD card that saves all the configuration. This is like a little Raspberry Pi interface. I don't know if it's a Pi Zero, or it probably is. It's that kind of thing. So anyhow, the output of this is a micro HDMI, and he provided the cable for that, which I was really thankful for. So all I have to do is plug in a standard HDMI into here, and then plug in the HDMI, see if I can get a shot of that. But the HDMI goes in right there, the micro HDMI, if that's what you call it, the mini HDMI. And then on the other side are these 2 USB ports, and he provided a cable for that as well. You plug in that cable Yeah, so that goes in right there. He recommended I plug it in to the one on the right, and I'm sure there's a reason for it, but that reason escapes me right now. And then once it's all hooked up, you have these SW1, 2, and 3, and then the reset buttons right here. So you have, and let's hear how those sound. So if you can hear that up here. So it's these, and this allows you to navigate the menus. So when you have it all plugged in, you're able to go in here and arrow up, arrow down, and then do a selection with these 3 buttons, and then reset just resets it back out. Within there, you're able to switch between profiles. So if you're using this particular box for 7800, you select the 7800 profile on this device. I also had him mod an Intellivision, so there's a profile on here for Intellivision that he set up, and when I go to use Intellivision, I need to switch to that profile. So anyhow, I'm very excited about this, and let's see if I can show this all hooked up and see what that looks like. Alright, I'm only going to show one game for this example. I just didn't have time to do a whole bunch of examples for this video. I apologize for that. And that game is Millie and Molly. And one thing I wanted to point out is that what you see, what I've captured with my video may not be actually what it looks like in person. As I review the footage, it almost looks the same, if not better, or contradicts what I'm saying on the video. But in person, it really does seem like the composite looks a little bit better on the contrast on Millie and Molly. But one thing I do want to point out is just I love the ability to be able to switch between the composite and Luma, which is a really nice feature. And before I conclude the video, I wanted to thank Crossbow on Atari Age for doing this incredible mod for me. He is just an amazing modder, and he will do a customized video for you if you hire him to do your mod, and it's just A1 premium service from him. So thanks again, Crossbow. So we're in composite mode. Notice the contrast on the ladder and then of the character to the background. Now we'll switch back to Luma. Notice the screen size changes slightly too. If you notice that slight difference on the screen size, the aspect ratio is slightly different. But notice on the ladder, the character is a little more difficult in my opinion to see. Let's kind of switch between while we're on the ladder. Let's go back to composite. See how the aspect ratio changes a little? I think the features are a little easier to make out on the ladder. But for the most part, Luma is just, it shines. Then if we go into the menu, you can see there's the little menu on the RGB to HDMI. I don't want to play around with it too much because I don't know what I'm doing with it yet. Which do you prefer? Might just be me. I think in some games composite looks better, but then in others Luma is a clear standout. So I really enjoy having both as an option. Like on this one, she looks more clear to me in the background. Oops, I messed that one up. So again, this is Luma mode. Now let's switch back to composite.